Alright guys, well, I've been working on my Ultimate Showdown video, but in the meantime, I thought I'd do a classic ranking video, and in today's video, I'm going to be ranking all 10 seasons of Total Drama. Yes, I did say 10, I'm including Total Drama Rama, but since there is technically 3 seasons of that, I'm just going to combine them into one season. But let's be honest, we all knew that it was going to get 10th place anyway. I mean, I've seen a bunch of clips from the show. I haven't actually watched it yet, but I've seen a bunch of clips, and I know about the incident stuff. I know about the fart, but like, let's be honest, it's a baby show. It's not ever going to compare to anything else. Like, that's just obvious. So that one can just go. 9th is going to be Pocketail. I think I just spoiled 8th, but that's fine. Now, Pocketail is not bad by any means. I definitely stand by that. I actually think its cast is pretty decent. I just think it would have benefited so much from being a 26 episode season. I know a lot of people hate the cast, but outside of Sugar, literally just Sugar, I think that with the 26 episode season and a couple of tweaks, especially with Beardo and Sammy and Ella's characters, I think this could have been a great season. Maybe even on par with some of the reboot seasons. But I think it's pretty good, a solid like 6 out of 10 where it is right now. As for number 8, this is probably one of my hottest takes. Yeah, the Ridonkulous race is great, but I do think All Stars is better than it. I have a very soft spot for All Stars that I'll get to when I actually get to All Stars, but with the Ridonkulous race, I feel like storytelling wise, yeah, it's probably better than All Stars. But, I don't know. I just love the Survivor type gameplay loop more than the Amazing Race type gameplay. I don't know. I feel like there's so many characters here that are just complete wastes of time. There's like a solid 10 teams that are really good and really endearing, and every other team is nothing, really. Just nothing. But I still think it's really good. I'm gonna give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. By the way, Dramarama gets like a 3 out of 10. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. I also really like a couple of the characters from it, like Emma and Kitty, and MacArthur and Jose and Jacques, and some of those. 7th, Speak of the Devil, is All Stars. Now I know a lot of people absolutely despise this season for what it did to the characters, and I'm not gonna say that it didn't destroy characters like Duncan and Zoe, making Zoe an absolute buffoon, bro, I swear. But I still like it. I don't know. I feel like the only thing that would have made it better is if it was a Mike Courtney finale instead of Mike and Zoe. Without completely changing the whole thing, of course, because yes, it should have been a 26 episode season. Yes, there should have been more than those people. Yes, Sierra and Sam had no place being there over Brick and like half the original cast, and even Dawn to an extent. But I still think it was a great season and a great time overall. It was really fun to watch, I'd say. Outside of Duncan, my boy Duncan got shafted. He was so bad in that season. But yeah, I think All Stars is deserving of the 7th spot. I'll give it a solid 7.7 out of 10. Then we have the first season of the reboot, and it definitely feels exactly like what I'd expect a Total Drama Island reboot to do. But I'm proud that it was still like lore filled and stuff. Because I'm gonna be honest, I really just thought this season coming into it was gonna be like, oh look, we know what the kids are into, the iPhones and the TikToks and the freaking we are woke, we accept all people crap. That's what I thought, which isn't bad to have in your show by any means, but you gotta balance it. And that's exactly what this season did. Of course, it did have both of those things, but they were actually still endearing characters. I mean, heck, Scary Girl is my favorite character from all of Total Drama, along with Ezekiel. So, and that's not the only good character there. I mean, we got characters like Julia, MK, freaking Damien, Like, we got a lot of great characters here that I think that's why I think they're gonna get a third season. Probably either this year or next year. But yeah, I think the second season is better than the first, which I know is a hot take, but I really do, for a couple reasons, but I'll get to that when I get to the second season. So for this, I'll give it a solid 8 out of 10. Moving on to our top 5, we have, that was a spoiler, again, but we have Revenge of the Island. And this was a tough one between number 5 and number 4, and number 3, honestly. But Revenge of the Island probably has the third best cast in the entire show. Because, I don't know, I just love the dynamics between a lot of the characters, like Sam Dakota/Dakota Zoid, Mike, Zoe, Cameron, Scott, Joe, Lightning, Brick, like, a lot of characters there that are just great. And that, a lot of characters, like, I feel like even the pre-merge boots are all really good, with the exception of Stacy and B, because B did nothing, and Stacy is Stacy. But I do genuinely think that this was a great season, and probably the best use, not my favorite season with it, but the best use of the 13-episode format, with the pacing and stuff. But it just barely, and I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. But it barely gets snuffed out by, honestly, an 8.6 out of 10. Actually, no. I'll move Revenge of the Island up to 9 out of 10 and this to 9.1 out of 10. Right here, Total Drama Island Reboot Season 2. And the second season of the reboot is a lot better than the first, because it doesn't need to introduce these characters. We haven't had something like this, with the kind of exception of All Stars. We haven't had something like this since, like, Total Drama World Tour and Total Drama Action. And judging by the fact that you haven't seen either of those seasons yet, you know that it works. So we got to expand on a lot of characters, except Scary Girl and the Shell, that were not expanded on in the first season, and it really was great. I feel like the only thing that was a problem was having Priya and Julia get so far, but I think Julia is forgivable, Priya isn't. The whole pre-love storyline got really out of hand. I feel like Priya should have gotten shafted a lot earlier for either Scary Girl or Nichelle, but if you've seen my third season of the reboot prediction, you'll know that if that happens exactly like I said it, which it probably won't, but if it does, you'll know that this season will get even better because of it. But I do think that they really did well with this season, and really did well playing off and building off of the first season of the reboot. And I think that they made these characters a lot more iconic, I'd say, and a lot more not just one-dimensional. Looking at you, Pocktail. It's for our number 3 spot. It gets kind of obvious from here, guys, but for our number 3 spot, I gotta go with Total Drama Action. Now, Total Drama Action's been getting some hate recently, and it always has been compared to World Tour and Island, but especially recently, I've been seeing a lot of hate for Action. But I feel like Action is just a chill season, not in the same way Island, like the original Island, is, but it's just like a season that you can throw on, watch a couple episodes here and there, and just have a good time with. I think that this would be even higher, because I'd say I'd give this a solid 9.5 out of 10. I think it'd be a 10 out of 10 if we had a Harold Lindsay finale, except for Duncan and freaking Bev. But outside of the finale being whack, I just said whack, what the heck? Outside of the finale being bad, I think this season did really well with a lot of its character development, like I said, with Harold and Lindsay, but also with Justin, and even to an extent with Duncan and Courtney, although I know that's controversial. And then I don't think there's really any characters that they did bad, except Trent. Holy shit, Trent was bad. Like, that was disgusting. That was depressing to watch. But with the exception of Trent, this whole thing, and the two not getting the finals, Harold and Lindsay, I think it was a great season. Oh, and also they introduced Aftermath, which I think they should definitely bring back in the third season, which y'all saw. So then, for our number 2 spot, we have Island. Yes, that means World Tour is first. Which I'm pretty sure isn't that controversial, but it's always one of these two. Island you see, when I first started watching Total Drama, I thought, oh, I'll just watch like 10 episodes of Island, and yeah, I'll have a good time. Yeah, no, since then, not only has this become my favorite show, beating Owl House and Amphibia, which were originally my favorite shows, but it sparked me to get really involved in this community. I've already made, and I'm probably going to turn them into a lot of videos, but tons of like fan seasons and what ifs and stuff. And then I got into this venture camp because of this, which will have its own videos at some point. But I really, it all started here with this season. And this season, like, it's got the perfect cast, the perfect pacing, the perfect story, albeit there's a lot of plot holes and plot armor for Heather. It's just perfect. And it gets a 10 out of 10. But even though it's perfect, little did we know, or I knew at least, because I didn't start watching these till freaking 2023 or 2024, they can do better than perfect. And that would be World Tour at our #1 spot. World Tour literally will never have a better season made, and that includes this Venture Camp too. Which maybe I'll do a ranking someday of this Venture Camp seasons after season 4 is done. But like, this is literally peak. I think the song thing was really funny, and there are a couple hidden gems in there, although most of them are not something I'd listen to normally. I think World Tour, like, it literally is just perfect. Like, there's no way they could make it better. Even though they had Ezekiel get out first again, which I hated at first, he's my favorite character along with Scary Girl. I like the way they kept him using him, and even though they made him feral, which a lot of people don't like, I thought it was hilarious. Alejandro and Heather being the final two. I was worried it was going to be Cody and Alejandro. I don't know why I thought that when I was first watching the season, but Alejandro and Heather is perfect final two, easily the best final two we've ever had. And also some of the other plot lines. Sierra, she did make it a little far, but I do think she was great. Not all-star worthy though. The love triangle as well, that was interesting, but I liked it personally, and it was handled a lot better there than it was in All Stars. And then giving characters like Noah and Tyler more screen time was also great, although Noah's best season's probably in the Redonkulous race, to be honest. But yeah, that's my ranking. Obviously, I give World Tour an 11 out of 10. So yeah, in total, 10th place is Dramarama, 9th is Pahkitew Island, 8th is Redonkulous Race, 7th is All Stars, 6th is the first season of the reboot, 5th is Revenge of the Island, 4th is the second season of the reboot, 3rd is Action, and 2nd is the original Island, and 1st is World Tour. Oh my goodness, my voice. But yeah, this is my ranking. Not too many hot takes outside of Redonkulous Race and All Stars, but I hope you all enjoyed. Bye.